Hey all, it's me again, the Rock Doctor, coming at you live again with another installment of What the F Should I Be Practicing? Well, let me cut to the chase here. In truth, as an intermediate rock guitar player, someone who's coming out of the realm of being a noob, and you're starting to get a handle on what you're doing, the most important things you really could do are learn songs all the way through and learn some basic licks that fit chords. And we've talked about that over and over, and I will continue to talk about that. But today's lesson is not about those two items. This is in addition to that. If you have time, then do this. But don't dedicate your life to solely learning what I'm about to talk about. Don't do that, because it won't take you to the promised land. Licks and songs will take you to the promised land. But this is a way, if you have time, to open up your mind and think about how the guitar's laid out and where everything is. So, here's what I'm talking about. When I was playing for maybe a year, I had a friend who lived down the road who showed me that pentatonic, the main pentatonic shape. This guy, he showed me this. And he could play his ass off using primarily that scale, and he had a handful of licks that he could just rip off. It was awesome. And I didn't know what he was doing. I didn't have the time under my belt yet to be able to listen and figure shit out like he could. But he could play any lick, that was on the radio, any song. This is like mid to late 70s. He was a badass. Jim Crawley was his name. But anyway, he showed me that scale, and I knew that you could slide it around to two different keys. If the song's in A, you play the scale at the 5th fret, the main pentatonic shape. If you're in E, you're at the 12th fret. Well, okay. So, at that time, a lot of the songs that I knew were in E. So I was kind of half-assedly being able to jam along the songs with the main pentatonic shape in the 12th position for E minor pentatonic. But that's about all I knew. I knew a couple of licks, and I didn't know much else. Okay. Now, let's continue with this. So I knew the shape, and I knew that it would fit songs in E, and I had a couple of licks. I'm still, pretty crappy, but I'm getting there. But I'm very driven. And so at this time, I'm old enough to drive, and I'm going to these live, real concerts, like Foghat, Rick Derringer, all that shit that was happening in the late 70s, Peter Frampton. And what I observed, I played close attention, was these guys could play all over the fingerboard when they would solo. I mean, they play anywhere they want, never get lost, never screw up. So I'm thinking to myself, there's got to be some way I could use logic to figure out maybe what these guys are doing. I wasn't quite good enough to figure out every lick yet, but anyway, I have an analytical mind. So here's what I did. Let me put the guitar down for a minute. Check this out. I was doing a couple things simultaneously. I was working through the Mel Bay books for sight reading just because I wanted to, but in the process of that, I drew up a big chart on a piece of typing paper, printer paper, with all the strings, frets, up to about the 22nd fret. I think I had a Les Paul then, so I drew a fingerboard chart up, just a picture of the neck with the strings and the frets, and I labeled all the notes. Okay. So what I did was, because I didn't know much, I took that E pentatonic scale shape that Jim had showed me. Take a look. And I circled it on my fingerboard chart. Can you see it? Look. Here it is. Look. Now, I didn't know what pentatonic meant. Penta means 5. And I was like, well, what the F are they talking about? This scale has 2 notes on a string. There's 12 freaking notes. What penta what? Right? Well, look what I found out. Once I circled the notes of the shape, look. E. I'm in the 12th position. Look. E, G, A, B, D. E, G, A, B, D. It happened again. E, G. So, E, G, A, B, D. 5. Oh! That's what they were talking about. So now keep in mind, I'm trying to map out the fingerboard here. There were no books on this. If there were, I didn't know where they were. I figured this shit out myself. Because I'm very driven and stubborn. And so, the next thing I did, I took my little highlighter. I use a highlighter, but I've got a sharp here. Oops, there goes the cap. I circled every E, G, A, B, and D on the whole freaking chart. Here we go, look. I'll start here, look. E, G, A, B, D. E, G, A. How many A's right now? B, D, E, G. That's good enough. D string. D, E, G, A, B, D, E. You see what I'm doing here? E, G, G string. A, B, D, E. Okay, got all that. B string. E, G, A, B, D, E, G, A, B, D, high E. E, G, A, B, D. All right, hold on a minute. Let me put a cap back on this thing. Ah! All right. Now look what happened. I'll tell you what happened. I was intimidated because I've got this giant mess of red circles. All right? What the F are you going to do with that? Nothing. It's too much. All right, let me go over here and grab my printers back here. Let me grab a couple sheets of printer paper. Look. Hold on. So, I'm on to something now, right? I know that shape now is there at the 12th fret. But now I got all this other bullshit. It's too much for my brain. All right, watch. Let's focus at this one, on this one again. Look. There's the main shape. Scale number 1, right? Right. You know it's on the string, right? You got me, right? Mm-hmm. Now watch what happens. I took a piece of paper and covered up the high notes in the shape, and I moved the other piece of paper. Look! You see it? Now that one goes, let me drop the paper. 10, 12, 10, 12, 9, 12, 9, 12, 10, 12, 10. You see it. Look, I've drawn it over here. It's the same scale. It's E, G, A, B, and D. This time the low note's D. And there's the shape. I call that scale number 2, so I wrote it down. Now look, I repeated the process again. I covered up the high notes here and moved back. Look! Now I'm in the 7th position. See it? Now look what I've got. 7, 10, 7, 10, 7, 9, 7, 9, 8, 10, 7, 10. And I wrote it down. This time the low note's a B note. But it's still E, G, A, B, and D just right there. Now let's do it again. Let's cover up the high notes of this shape, number 3, and move back again. I got this, look, in the 5th position, right? You with me? Now the low note is at the 5th fret, an A. Still the same 5 notes though. A. So 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 4, 7 on the G string, 5, 8 on the B, and 5, 7 on the high E. And I wrote it down. See it? Scale number 4 in the 5th position for E minor pen. They're all the same. It's one giant scale, really. Then I did it one more time. Look. There's the 5th position guy. Cover up the high notes, slide back, and look what I got. In the 3rd position. Look, it's my mom's name, B. Son of a bitch. Look. This time it's 3, 5 on the low E, 2, 5 on the A, 2, 5 on the D, 2, 4 on the G, 3, 5 on the B, and 3, 5 on the E. One more time. Look what happens if you do it again. Cover up the high notes. Son of a bitch, it's the first one again! Yeah, see it? There's the open E minor pentatonic. So, this pretty much opened up the world for me logically on the guitar. And what I ended up doing really was multiple things. But every time I learned something new, whether it be a major scale or an arpeggio, I started mapping that shit out. But don't forget, if that's all you do is spend your time on this, and you don't spend time learning licks and playing, you're not going to be any good. So don't let this overburden you. But there it is. You know, from my standpoint now, it helps me because when I'm trying to figure out someone else's lick, whatever style it might be, it always falls into one of these patterns. Well, it might be the major and minor scale patterns too, but all right. So enough about that. So there's 5 shapes. What do you do to get them in your head without hurting yourself? That's next. All right. Get my guitar. I don't know what I do with my pick. Oh, here it is. Okay. Well, here's one thing you can do. This is what I did. I would warm up every day and just play through the scales, the shapes. I started with the 12th fret one, and I worked my way back. I got some kind of twisty deal here. I'll just deal with it. All right. So, what? Yeah. So just play through them. Low to high, high to low, and use alternate picking. Maybe it's a good idea. So this. Just keep going with that until you're comfortable. not a lick, it's really not music. But I did that with every single one. I will do every one. Oh, but you get my drift. And do that for a few minutes. Play all of them. Up and back, get used to it. Okay, now, you're gonna hate that, and it's gonna be boring, and it's gonna suck, and you're not gonna want to do it anymore. So how can you take it a step further and make it fun? Backing track. So now I'm gonna do the same thing with the backing track. This is my backing track at E number 1. I'll include the link in the description, but any backing track in E would work. This is still not exactly musical, but it's a little more fun because you're trying to play your licks here. We're playing 2 notes on a beat, right? 8th notes? And you're trying to play along to the drum groove. Check it out. Here I go. There's the beat. Da, da, da. Ba, da, 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 da. If you can do that, you got something before you're on your way. Here I go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get my grip. Do it with all of them. Musical. So let's take it another step. Now, the way most songs are put together, including this backing track, the chords are kind of paired together in pairs, or each chord lasts for a measure, and our phrases should do the same thing. So you could try to arbitrarily phrase as you're playing through this stuff in 2 little measure ideas. Try to start and try to stop at 2 measures. Well, here, let me just do it. See if this makes sense. So you could try it yourself. It works with all of them. You're going to fumble around and fall on your face. I probably will too. But let's just listen and see if this makes sense to you. Let me take it back to the top. 2 measure phrases, meaning 8 beats. Usually the 2nd measure, I let the note ring somewhere. It's like the end of a sentence. 2, 3, 4. 1, So you can try to come up with phrases on the spot. They may not be the best, but get a feel for putting together 2-bar phrases where you're kind of stopping here and there. And you're trying to stop on a chord tone too, but just use your ear, and it's okay if you hit a bad note. I hit a couple there. I wasn't trying to do anything spectacular. But those are some things that can help you get the 5 shapes in your head. But again, remember, don't let it overtake your life, because learning actual licks is more important than learning every scale finger and being able to melt them off the fingerboard. Yeah. But, if you have a nice balance of both, then you've got something. Yeah, that's it. And so that's it. It's me, the Rock Doctor. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, order me a pizza, and find me a hot chick bass player. Yeah, that'd be nice. All right, I'm out of here. I love you. Bye.